please. Here we go. Roll camera. Sound.
Sweet. 15, Charlie, take 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Action.
Okay, a toast to friendship, love, and healing. Cheers. Okay, a toast to friendship, love, and healing. Cheers.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Good morning. It is Tuesday, December the 15th, 2020, 11:07 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name's Dave Mcrae, coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. And I don't know, maybe it's because it's the holidays or close to the holidays. One more time, shall we? I want to just, Q&A it up again. So that's what we're going to do today. Whatever you guys want to talk about, whatever is on your agenda, whatever questions you have, let's chat. Let's chat, shall we? There we go. Hey, episode 128 of Mcrae live here on this Tuesday morning, almost afternoon. What's the temperature like today? I was going to go for a run later this afternoon. I don't mind running in cold weather though. I'm a yearly runner. I'll run in the snow, I'll run in the sleet, I'll run in the rain, I'll run in heat. Of course, I prefer not to run in the heat or any of those things, but it's minus 6 degrees Celsius, folks. Celsius. Hey, Google, what is minus 6 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit?
Minus 6 degrees Celsius is 21.2 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, so there you go. So it feels like 21 degrees outside. So it's pretty chilly. It's pretty chilly. I always like to do the conversion for my American brothers and sisters because obviously the vast majority of my viewers are not doing the Celsius thing. So anyway, but it's chilly. It's chilly to say the least. So but that's a good. I don't mind that. That's a good temperature to run in. You know, you bundle up, put on a hoodie, put on a nice jacket. You know, out you go. Gloves, toque, winter hat for those of you that you know. And it's good stuff. It's good stuff. So I'll probably do that later this afternoon. Hey, what's happening, everybody? I see Darren is here. Oh, something I want to show first off the top, actually, which is really funny. I will be appearing on the next episode of the Slaughtered Lamb podcast. Of course, Darren Sands and Frank Riker are your gracious and lovely hosts of that podcast. And I believe it's episode 10, if I'm not mistaken, Darren, which drops, is it this Thursday or Friday? Something like that, where we are talking Die Hard. Well, we're watching Die Hard and we're talking Die Hard. And I just had a blast. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I knew I was going to have fun, but I didn't realize I was going to have that much fun. Just I can feel the camaraderie, the chemistry, you know, we have a flow, you know, and it feels great. And it was just a lot of fun to be on it. And I can't wait to come back. And, but as we were, I guess a few minutes before we began the show, we were talking fandom and things like that. And Darren sent me this funny little Just this in regards to Ewan McGregor and the world of Star Wars. And it's just funny when you piece them side by side, especially when you piece them side by side. In a vacuum on their own, they don't particularly, it's like, okay, well, there's this. Okay, well, there's that. Okay, well, there's this. But when you line them up side by side, it actually is really funny. And so Darren sent them to me this morning, and I downloaded them and put them up here into the show because I wanted to show you guys. Excuse me. I just think this is funny when you read them in order. Maybe you had to be there. Maybe it's one of those things where you had to be there, but I think this is really funny. So this is from a while ago, okay? This is from Monday, the 27th of October, 2014. So this is just over 6 years ago, but nonetheless, Ewan McGregor, Star Wars, and I believe that's wankers. I believe that's what he's saying, right? Darren, you can help me with the British terminology here. I believe that's what he's saying, but maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, he says, Star Wars fans are fucking wankers. I've seen Phantom Menace once. Is it wankers or is it something else? Maybe it's something else. You can help me out with that. I've seen Phantom Menace once. How this came up is that we were talking about the world of fandom, and on my last Mcrae Live, I was talking about how there's different degrees of fandom, and there's different obsessions, and there's fans, and then there's uber fans, there's obsessed fans, there's people who know Dr. Loomis's shoe size and belt size and whether he takes Viagra or not fans. There's those kind of fans too, that like to read every comic and book and all that kind of stuff. Wankers, yes, thank you, Darren. It's crazy. You can get crazy. I mean, the fans know far more about the movies and the lore and the mythology than any of the filmmakers or even the actors could ever dream of knowing, right? So I was, of course, on that show, I was talking about how Disney had released, they're going to be doing 10 new Star Wars shows. I was like, 10? 10? I can't even, I'm still 5 episodes behind on the Mandalorian. I can't even imagine the amount of ass time. That sounds like it's a completely different thing. But the amount of sitting on your ass time, I guess I should say, that requires to sit there on your ass, to watch these shows is incredible to me. Anyway, Star Wars fans are yes, they are. Yes, they are, Ewan. Yes, they are. I don't know if they're wankers. Maybe they're just uber passionate. I don't know. I've seen Phantom Menace once. Ewan McGregor's only seen Phantom Menace once. I mean, maybe he's seen it. Maybe he saw it last year in 2019 for the 20th year anniversary. Maybe he did. Maybe. But at this time, he had only seen it once. Jesus. I mean, this headline basically says, holy shit, fans. I mean, listen, I love you, but shut the fuck up. I don't know what shoe size Obi-Wan. I don't know what he had for breakfast that morning. I don't know what he liked to do. I don't know what women he's into. Blondes, brunettes, bimbos, sluts. I don't know. This is what that headline. This is what that headline is right there. Fuck, I don't know. Shut up. That's what this is. I've seen the movie once. That's basically what that says there. And I just thought that was hardcore uber Star Wars fans right now. But like, Dave, I'm offended. Calm down. I'm busting your balls. Anyway, so but funny, right? Funny. This is like, holy shit. And then of course we know that he we know that he goes through a divorce. So this is just a little while ago. And of course, Ewan McGregor's divorce is final and apparently expensive. We know that. We know the vast majority of Ewan McGregor's, financial, or a large part of it anyway, certainly came from Star Wars. I mean, let's not fool around here. That really is, at the end of the day, right? And then of course, so you read that. Now, this is this past summer, so this is arguably 6 years later. Okay. But then you go to this one here. Ewan McGregor on why he's so excited to return to Star Wars. I bet you are. I bet you are. Money, 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 money. Oh, he's not going to tell you that. I haven't read this article, but I can guarantee you that he probably says somewhere in there, oh, it's just so wonderful. I can't wait to be back to play this role again. Oh, I love this character. It was so amazing. I love this character so much. That was a fake cough, by the way. It looked pretty real, didn't it? It was, I could do fake coughs and fake laughs and hitting myself in the door. You know, look, yeah. Anyway, I used to do it back in college and high school and school and stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, Ewan McGregor, you know, essentially, he's really excited. Well, I bet he is. His ex-wife just drained him of all that fucking Star Wars money, and now he knows. He's like, Obi-Wan? Yes, perfect timing, bitches. I'll come back. You know, I mean, you know, I bet he is excited. He is, and his wife and his ex-wife was probably counting the, you know, the days down to whether or not she can find some sort of loophole that she can get part of this shit too. I have no idea. Anyway, listen, I just think this is funny, you know. Especially when you play it, you read them in order, right? So you have like, you know, there you go. Ewan McGregor, Star Wars fans are fucking wankers. I've seen Phantom Menace once. Ewan McGregor's divorce is final, apparently expensive. Ewan McGregor and wife so excited to return to Star Wars. Oh, I just think it's so funny. So funny. That was a real cough. All right, let's go. Let's see what you guys are saying. Let's head over to the find out what's going on here. Hey, Intel Wild has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. Intel, I haven't seen you in a microsecond. It's been a while. Intel Wild sends in a $5 super chat, says, if Billy's back, then Intel's back. Well, he is back. He is definitely back, and it's great to see you back as well, Intel. Nice to have you here. Hope you are doing well. Hope everything is going well for you. I hope so. Anyway, I hope so. So yeah, let's. Oliver Mercer says it's 11 degrees Celsius and raining here in the UK. Now it's 4:11 in the afternoon. Yeah, I can imagine. 4:11 in the afternoon. That makes sense. That makes sense. It's 11:17 here in Toronto. Sorry, I just thought I heard some feedback there, but no, I think we're good. Another super chat comes in from Intel. Oh, he's being very generous today. $25 super chat. Thank you, Intel. It says, Dave, just wanted to say it's me, Billy, looks great. The warmth, color, camera angles, audio, etc. Actresses killed it. Greg's a stud, and the whole cast did a fantastic job. Greg is a stud. Greg, if you're watching, you're a stud. Oh, yeah, no, they did, Intel. I mean, it's... we're very pleased. We're very pleased with how everything turned out, and you know, we're pleased with the performances. We're pleased with the just everything. I mean, you know, look, like every movie, there's always going to be one or two things you wish you had gotten, or you wish you were able to adjust or do, and you know, and things like that. But for the most part, you know, considering it was a 6-day shoot, considering, you know, we moved into, we didn't even know in May and June, before we launched the Indiegogo campaign, whether or not we'd be shooting in November at all. I mean, we shot this thing during a pandemic. We shot this thing, you know, we moved into pre-production really quickly. Excuse me, we had been sort of, once we knew we were likely going to be able to do it, I mean, we made $30,000 in 5 days off the Indiegogo campaign. So that was a good sign that we were well on our way. We sort of simultaneously began the pre-production process, but we really dove into it deeply, of course, at the beginning of September. But we still didn't know whether we were going to shoot this thing. We didn't know whether we were going to be able to shoot this movie up until maybe a week before we were supposed to go to camera. But we laid it out and we prepared as if we were, and we did. And, you know, all things considered, like I've been saying, you know, 1,000 times, the cast was great. The crew was great. It was just serendipitous. You know, I mean, we arrive at the location. I drove up with the ladies and I rented a big, Suburban, and I drove us all up. And that was fun too. I mean, just that was fun, you know, just being in the what is it? Well, I guess it's an SUV, I guess, with them, talking, laughing, you know, getting to know them. It was so great to be able to get to know, you know, I mean, obviously I got to know the actors and have gotten to know the actors better over the last, you know, well, I guess 8 to 10 months now. better than the crew, but I consider everybody a friend, you know, and it's so wonderful to be able to develop that kind of a working professional relationship, which is so amazing because everybody was so talented, and I can't wait to work with them again. You know, it's the kind of thing that when it ended, and it's not just me saying this, that's what's so amazing about this, Intel, is that it's not just, I don't just feel this way. I know that others feel this way as well. And funny enough, like I've been saying, myself and Bruce, in the capacity that we were in as directors, producers, and writers, were the least experienced on set. Now, we've worked on set before, but in the roles that we were in, compared to the roles, I mean, it was our first time directing something of, you know, at this level, but it wasn't the first time that our first AC was focus pulling something at this level. She's worked on huge shows, you know what I mean? And same with our sound, you know, recordist and our gaffer and our this and that. So we were the least experienced in the roles that we were in, but everybody, you know, at the end, there were a few people that said that it was the best set they ever worked on. And that was huge. That was huge for us because it showed us that being prepared in the ways that we were, handling things in the ways that we were handling it, you know, really paid off. And they wanted to work hard for us because they saw how well we were taking care of them and working hard for them, you know, and that was amazing. That I think is the best. That's the best thing that could have come out of that, because it means that whatever we do moving forward, if we wanted to go back to them and, you know, get them on board for something else, if they can do it, they're likely to think about it and be like, yeah, I want to work with these guys again. And if they can't do it for whatever reason, then you know that they're going to be a good reference for you, right? Like they may seek out somebody else, be like, hey, listen, I can't do this thing that these guys are doing, but you need to do this with these guys because these guys are amazing and they're going to take care of you. You know, that really, that's awesome. That's the best thing. That's in terms of the crew and the cast and the logistics of all the working parts of a set. That's the best thing that could have come out of it. So yeah, I mean, it was great, and working with these guys and seeing them working and they were on their game, and watching Greg. I learned a lot from Greg. I'm continuing to learn a lot from Greg because obviously the movie's being assembled. The teaser trailer is almost locked. We're currently color correcting it right now. And I'm learning a lot from him through that process as well, because obviously being a DP at his level, he has a lot more experience in that area than I do. And it's just great. It was just all around a great experience. I can't think of anything that went wrong on set. You know, there's no drama, there's no fighting, there's no Christian Bale moment, you know. What the fuck are you doing? I was looking at the light, you know. There was no moment like that, you know, where like, you know, Shelby lost her cool and screamed and yelled and threw a cup across the room and everybody. We can make shit up though. Shelby, if you're watching, damn fucking throwing that cup across the room. God. No, there was none of that. There was none of that. It was just a great time. It was a great time. And I was glad that we were able to do it. And I'm excited to show you guys. You know, I'm excited to show you guys. And I think Black Christmas fans will be very happy. You know, I think so. The Smokies says, Dave, since we know you love Black Christmas, I do. Do you like Bob Clark's other Christmas classic, A Christmas Story? Ironically enough, I don't. I'm not a big fan of A Christmas Story. It's a little hokey to me. I don't know what it is. I never got into this kid and his fucking BB gun. I don't know what it is. I mean, listen, it's not Halloween 5, but I don't really. It's not one that I got into as a kid. I don't loathe it or anything, but I don't watch it. I haven't watched it in probably 25 years. I don't care for it. It's just not one. It's just so weird. It's just, and it's supposed to be that way. Like it's supposed to be the kind of movie it is. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of it. Just not a big fan of it. Porky's, though, of course, I like, which was another one he did. And but yeah, I would watch Black Christmas over A Christmas Story any day of the week and twice on Sunday, as they say. Super chat, Justin Goodrich, says, have you seen House of the Devil 09? And if so, what'd you think? I saw it on last drive-in. Are you a fan of Joe Bob? And thought, I haven't seen House of the Devil. I don't even know if, let me see. Let me put this up in the window here and see if I know the cover. Oh, yes. I do know this movie. Have I seen this movie? I don't know if I have seen this movie. It looks very familiar, but I'm not 100% sure if I have. I love the set design, though. Just looking at some images. Good old product placement. Yeah, it takes place, obviously, in a certain... I'm gonna have to check this out again. I don't know if I have seen this, but it looks familiar. It looks familiar to me. Yeah, I'm going to have to check this out again. I don't know. Good question, buddy. I'm not sure. And I will have to, and Joe Bob. Who's Joe Bob? Is that somebody in the movie? Is this an actor? Am I completely losing my mind here? Oh, you mean Joe Bob Briggs, I guess is who you're talking about, right? I can't say I am and I'm not. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, no, I can't say that I am, but that doesn't mean that I'm not. It just means I'm not familiar. Let's see. Amstill54 says, Dave, besides charisma and a great voice, easy. Do you have any talents we don't know about? Any talents I don't know about, or that I don't know about, that you don't know about? I don't know. I mean, I'm a good hockey player, although that's, yeah, but you're Canadian. That doesn't count. No, but I played hockey for 13 years growing up, and I was very good. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed playing hockey. I took Taekwondo as a kid. Never went to black belt or anything, but I did take Taekwondo as a kid. I think I don't know, any other talents. I wouldn't say, I mean, I spent most of my life so much into sort of the creative, like the performing, the acting, the theatrical side and things like that. I would say that my strength is definitely, being theatrical and performing and things like that. I've done a lot of stage, and like I said, I mean, I started out pursuing a career as an on-camera actor. That was my goal. And I was having really good success at it. I was in a few commercials. I was in a few docudramas. But then as I've said thousands of times on this channel, I broke my teeth playing street hockey. And of course, I had to have this tooth is fake, and I had that one reattached. And anyways, it was a whole ordeal. This is nearly 20 years ago. And then of course my on-camera career, whatever it was I was pursuing at that time, had to be put on hold. So I fell into the voiceover side of things, and then I just never looked back. And voiceover, I mean, it is acting. You're just acting behind a microphone, whatever you're doing, whether you're doing network promo, a radio television commercial, animation, narration, movie trailer. I'm not playing myself, right? You're always doing some sort of acting. Now, when you're doing cartoons and animation, that of course is where the real acting comes into play, so to speak. But yeah, I think that's probably my biggest strength would be my ability, my acting and performing abilities, being theatrical, doing crazy voices. I think I'm good at comedy. I think I have a good sense of comedic timing. And it's you're only so restricted. I mean, there's only so much I can do in this little box that you're watching me on, right? I did stand-up comedy years ago when I was in college. I did that. That was a lot of fun. Really good success. but any other talents like, I can, dribble a basketball on my head for 4 hours. And maybe I could, I don't know. But nothing crazy like that. I haven't really explored a lot of other things. I jog. I mean, that's not a talent, but that's something that I do. I've been jogging for 25 years. I've never ran a marathon. I mean, I've probably run about 5,000 marathons over the last 25 years when you add up all the runs that I've done, but I've never actually gone out and ran a marathon before. But I've been jogging for that long. Years ago, I used to lift, a lot of weights. I still do from time to time just to kind of, keep the strength there, but not like I was in high school or college. My resting heart rate is about 50 beats a minute. And that's because of all the jogging I've been doing. I try to run about I've only ran once in the last 3 weeks or so, but that's because of the movie and everything. But ideally I like to run about 3 days a week, about 5K each time. Again, it's not a talent. That's not a talent, but that's just, something that I do that some people may not know about. I don't know. If I think of something, I can't think of anything like in terms of talent-wise beyond my theatrical sort of passion for acting and performing and hosting and, whatever that is. It's not like I enjoy certain things, but I don't know if I would call it a talent per se, but, yeah. I feel like I got a cat hair in my mouth. Terrell Sims says, Dave, remember the scene in A Christmas Story where the mother calls Ralphie's friend Mom on the phone? It sounds just like Billy. Sorry, I'm trying to get this hair out of my mouth. Vaguely, I don't know. I'll have to watch it again. I haven't seen A Christmas Story in like 25 years, so I'll have to watch it again. I can't be like, oh yeah, totally. I don't know. I can't remember. So I'll have to watch it again. Super chat comes in from Frank Riker. Says reports say streaming prices will be as expensive as cable and satellite in a few years because companies are producing their own content and need to pass the cost to the viewer. You agree? I thought this was going to be a funny comment. This is a serious comment from Frank this time. Yeah, I mean, I haven't read that report, but I've thought just on my own about how expensive this could get. I mean, right now you're paying, I'm paying, what am I paying for Netflix now? $15 a month, I think, or something like that. And then I have with YouTube, the YouTube Premium, and myself and my girlfriend are on that. So that's close to $20 a month, like the no ads thing, right? So that's close to $20 a month. And then of course we have Disney Plus. We also have Netflix. So I think I said Netflix already. But we have Disney Plus as well. Don't have HBO Max because we can't get HBO Max here in Canada yet. But let's just say, and Hulu, I don't think we get here in Canada either yet. But let's just say for those of you, listen, there are some people that are going to have Netflix, HBO Max, Peacock, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus. You're going to have a subscription to YouTube Premium, so you don't get any ads. And this is only going to grow. It's not good. Disney Plus isn't going to be $9 or whatever it is right now forever. It's not. It won't be, especially with these new shows coming. And let's not, kid ourselves with these new shows. And it's true. What Frank is saying is true. When you are spending more money, you got to make more money. And the idea, yes, they're going to give you more content. They're going to give you 10 more Star Wars shows, but that's going to cost you. Because they have to make that, produce that. They borrow that money. They have to pay back their, lenders with interest, and they need to. I guarantee you, Disney Plus is going to go up. It's going to go up, and it's going to continue to go up forever. It's never going to go down. These prices are never going to go down. Netflix, you're not going to see Netflix is now $3 a month. Oh, they went backwards. No. Not, and if they do, then they're in trouble. But I can see a world, absolutely, where we are paying. I can see a world in the not too distant future where we are paying $25-$30 a month for one streaming service. 100%, easily. Can't do it right now, but I could totally see that. If I'm paying nearly $20 a month for just a family plan on YouTube Premium, and it's just myself and my girlfriend, and we're paying, and now this is Canadian dollars, I'm paying like $18 a month or whatever it is. Well, that's just YouTube. So, I mean, and then Netflix is close to like, I think it's 15 or 16 bucks, right? We're almost there. You know, you fast forward another 5 years and Disney Plus ain't going to be $7.99. It's not going to happen. You know, it's going to be, and these things are insidious. I mean, they're not going to jump from $7.99 to $20 a month. They're going to $7.99, maybe $10.99. I could see a $3 jump. I could see that. But they're going to continue to do that. You know, the more subscribers they get, the less they'll probably have to put it up because they make more across although not necessarily, but, yeah, no, I definitely can see that, Frank. And it's not going to stop there. I mean, there will be other streaming services that come along, you know. I mean, I don't even think Peacock's launched yet, you know. And then you've got, or has it launched? Has Peacock launched? I haven't really heard anything about it, but yeah, it is something that I've thought about. And for me though, it's not something that I am too worried about personally because I'm not a big watcher of television. You know, as you guys know, like my first thought when I saw that Disney Plus was launching 10 new Star Wars movies was not, oh my God, yay. It was holy fuck. How the hell am I supposed to, I can barely watch one. You know, it's just the kind of person I am, right? So for people like me, you probably don't care. Netflix, I mean, the only reason why I have Disney Plus, the only reason is because of The Mandalorian. It's the only reason. The only reason. That's it. I watch nothing else. I've watched a couple episodes of Boy Meets World because for nostalgia, I was like, oh yeah, Boy Meets World. But, you know, I was like, oh, and I watched a few episodes. That was fun, right? For nostalgia. But it's not like I have it for Boy Meets World. You know, I have it for The Mandalorian. And I watch nothing else on there. I think my girlfriend and I have watched a couple of older films for nostalgia reasons. Like I watched the old school 60s version of The Incredible Journey. I love that, you know, film as a kid. Not the one from the 90s with Michael J. Fox as the voice of the dog. I'm talking about the original The Incredible Journey from the late 60s, early 70s, I think. Disney film. It was one of my favorites as a kid. Loved it. It's on there. At least it was. I'm sure it still is. And we watched that. There's a couple other things we've watched, but I've had it for over a year now, and I've watched The Mandalorian and maybe 2 movies. You know, like I don't really watch it. So for me, you know, I wouldn't get HBO Max to watch the Snyder Cut because I just don't care, you know. So it's probably not going to affect me as much as it might affect the hardcore fans, right? The uber hardcore fans. What does Mark Hamill call them? Ultra passionate fans, APFs or whatever he says. He says something like that. And it's true, like because they feel they need to have everything because they don't want to miss out on anything. So yeah, I can see that price tag. Wow. You know, but it's going to take a lot, something really special for me to have everything. Like let's say Hulu and HBO Max become available in Canada. So I have Amazon Prime, I have Hulu, I have HBO Max, I have you know, Netflix, I have you know, Disney Plus, I got Peacock, I got you know, whatever else is coming down the pipe. Maybe Sony's going to do something. Maybe you know, I don't something. I mean, I can't see myself doing that because I'm not that kind of fan, you know. So yeah, like I would be perfectly happy, although I'm not always happy with Netflix's content because I think it's garbage. Most of it is saturated dog shit. But I watch so little scripted television now that I just wouldn't care. And it's not that I don't think there's good stuff out there. I think it's just, I don't know. It's like my dad, you know, my dad was the kind of guy that never really watched shows and things like that either. And if he did, it was older shows that he grew up with. Same with me. I've watched modern shows. I have, and I've enjoyed them. You know, like I was really into The Society and then it got canceled. I watched that funny one on Netflix with my girlfriend who we absolutely love the show. Kimmy Schmidt, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, thought it was fucking hilarious. You know, there are other shows too that I've watched, but like the hardcore Uber fans that have to have every streaming service because they don't want to miss out on anything, it's probably not going to affect us or me or us But yeah, I can definitely see that, Frank. And I think your last point there, companies are producing their own content, need to pass the cost out to the viewer. I think that's part of it. Yes, I think it's part of it. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, whether it is that or not, it is, you are producing more content, you are spending more money, so you need to make more money. And it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off. Hey, listen, we're going to give you all this. We're going to do this for you, but you have to pay more for it. That's the trade-off. And if you don't want to pay more for it, if none of you want to pay more for it, then it's quite simple. We won't produce the content. That's business. So, I mean, I'm not angry about it. I get it. Like, it would be different if Netflix kept raising their prices and their content, well, and there is an argument to be made for this, but it would be different if, like, you know, HBO Max started at $20 a month, but had shitty content. But like, why am I paying $20 a month? What, for the name? Like, where's the content? Like, where's the, where is this? Disney Plus doesn't release 10 new Star Wars movies and 10 new Star Wars shows and 10 new Marvel shows. They just keep the status quo. Mandalorian is their only thing, and they keep raising the price. Well, that's different. Now, are there operational costs? Are there costs involved? Sure. But that's different, right? Because then there's an argument to be made of why is the price going up when nothing changes? Right? But when things change and listen, it costs millions of dollars to produce one show, and they're doing 10. Yeah, your price is going up big time. And I'm not saying you're going to see a huge jump right away, but yeah, it's going up for sure. For sure it is. And I get it. I do get it. I get it for sure. The Kevin Zone says, Big Dave, it's my 50th birthday. Love your show. Happy 50th birthday. I was going to call you Big Kevin. Wow, Big Kevin. Happy birthday, Big Kevin. Amazing. Wayne Gotke says, I will never understand peeps who need to have subscription to every streaming service out there. You know what? It's not for me because I'm not as emotionally invested in all of the content. I find that I'm a very linear kind of person. I think I'm a very linear storyteller. That's why I don't like prequels. Generally speaking, it doesn't mean that I can't enjoy a good, and when I say prequels, I don't mean the Star Wars prequels, although I don't like the Star Wars prequels, but I'm talking about just going back. I've never been a big fan of that. I have no way to prove this to you, but I remember in the mid 90s when it was announced that George Lucas was doing new Star Wars movies, I got really excited. And when I found out that he was going back to do the story of Darth Vader, I remember like 17-year-old me in 1996 or 7 or whatever it was. Well, I was 17 in 96, but maybe it was 97. So maybe I was 18. But I remember finding this out and being disappointed. I remember being disappointed that he was going back. And this is long before he even had started making the fucking movie. I remember reading about this in some sort of magazine and being disappointed because I wanted to know what happened next. Because I was emotionally attached to Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Leia, right? And attached to these actors as I wanted to know what happened next. I didn't care what happened before. I didn't need to know that 25 years ago. I didn't care. But don't you want to see how Darth Vader became Darth Vader? I don't need to see that. All I got was I don't know. No. But there are people that do and need to see everything, throw everything at them. They want to know it all. I'm just not that. And they can bounce around from timelines to, and all this and prequels and, and sequels and tinkles and chinkles and wrinkles and kinkles and this and that. And I'm just like, I can't. It's too messy to me. I can't get emotionally attached to anything. I need to have it slowed down and move in a linear fashion because time moves that way. And I think that's the kind of storyteller I am because that's how time moves. I can't go back literally in my own. And then you could say, yeah, but isn't that cool that you can? Isn't it cool that, isn't it fun to go back? Yes. I mean, in a vacuum, yes. Yes. The idea. Yes, alternate realities and universes. Sure, I'm right there with you, man. I'm fascinated by that shit. It's cool stuff. But maybe it's also because they rarely do it right or they rarely get it right. And maybe that's part of the reason why. I just find myself being more of a linear creative person, that I like things moving in a straight line. And I know it probably sounds really boring, but I really like, because for me, it helps. I get emotionally attached that way, right? You create a foundation, you create characters, you move them forward, you keep moving them forward. You're building and building and building. And then you see this history. I hate building and building and then going, let's stop there and let's go back before. It's like, what are you doing? No, I don't care about. And then let's do this whole thing. And then in 10 years, then we'll pick up back up here. And then it's like, fuck, no, no. I'm out. It's like, Shark Tank. I'm out. I can't, I don't know. It's just my personality maybe. But again, nuance, right? Let's instill some nuance here. It's not that I haven't enjoyed a certain prequel here or there. It's not that it can't be done. It's not that if it's done in the right way or that I can't enjoy it and see the value in it, 100%. But generally speaking, it's not my style. It's also why I don't like crossing universes with horror characters coming into each other. And it's just, I'm not a big fan of it. I much prefer the mystique of building a linear story and having all that history, behind you as you're building and build. I don't know. There's just something about, and keeping on that track. That's just me. I've always been that way. I think. And the older I get, I think that's why maybe I do have trouble, getting emotionally attached to the superhero universe, because there's so many different versions and connections, and there's Batman Year One, and there's then there's this Batman, and then there's this Batman, and then there's this Batman, and it's like, can we just have one? And then some people are like, yeah, but Dave, it's great because there's the Batman, and then there's this 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 Superman that could be with this Batman, but this Batman comes in with this Superman, but then the Superman's not with this Batman. Oh, but I thought you said that Superman wasn't. No. That Superman's not with this Batman. That Superman's with this Batman, but this Batman's not with this Bruce Wayne. And see, this Bruce Wayne is a different Bruce Wayne. Like, I literally just found out, like, within the last 5 years, that there was also a different alternate reality Spider-Man. That was a black kid who became Spider-Man, which I think is really cool. I think that's fucking cool. But I didn't even know about that till like 5 years ago or 4 years ago, or like when that Sony movie came out, essentially, maybe 3 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. I was like, what? Miles Morales, I think his name is. I was like, who the hell is Miles Morales? I thought it was Peter Parker. And then I learned about it. I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. Yes, I think that's cool. I think it's cool, 100%. But I didn't even know about it until the movie came out, which shows you how disconnected I am from that world. So, it's just funny how there's different, it's like, it feels to me like the superhero genre is a genre where there's a lot of artists that want their say in their interpretations and their versions, different versions on characters and different universes. And you know what? It is kind of cool in and of itself. I totally get it. But when you make everything canon, or most things canon, and everything could be canon, I don't know. For me, it strips the mystique away. It tends to be too saturated, and I have trouble glomming on to an emotional attachment when I know that there's many different versions of this. It just kind of feels like, well, what's so special about this then? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's hard to quantify, but certainly but I appreciate fans' passion and love for it, because there's a market clearly, and people love it. And if you're somebody that can get emotionally attached to everything equally, well, not necessarily equally, but can appreciate and get emotionally attached to everything, I think it's amazing. I do. I wish I could do that, sincerely. But I find myself a little more of a linear fan. It's why if they announced a Dr. Loomis prequel thing, I'd be like, I don't care. Well, you're not a Halloween fan. No, it's not that I'm not a Halloween fan. I just don't care to know what he was doing 40 years ago, because I don't think it's necessary. And I think it devalues and strips away the mystique and the mystery of Dr. Loomis when we know everything about him. I just don't think it's necessary narratively. And you guys know me. I am somebody that if I thought something was necessary, or there was something that needed to be explained, something that needed to be explored, something that needed to be looked into, I would be the first to say it, because I care about continuity, context, and narrative. So if something really didn't make sense, then I'd be like, yeah, you know what? Maybe this is worth exploring. But I'm also the first out of the gate to say this is unnecessary because it feels like you're just doing this for the sake of doing it. And it doesn't do anything. As a matter of fact, you run the risk of watering down what you've created. That's how I feel. That's how I feel anyway. But everybody's different. Everybody is different. Everybody is different. Let me see. I don't think I missed any super chats while I was doing that tirade. No, I did not. Good. Let me scroll back here. Let me see. Oh, everybody's saying happy birthday to Kevin. That's good. We're going down. And we got Dave Bob Petway says, named my son Miles after watching that Spider-Man. Also love Miles Davis. That's great. That's awesome. I love it. Let me see. Stuart Johnson says, will they start filming Halloween End soon? I don't know. It all depends on, what the procedures are in place for COVID protocols when it comes to their set. I mean, obviously they are a major Hollywood film, so I'm sure that they will pay for everybody to have, to be tested and whatnot. I think I don't know. I think the plan, well, at least I know this, actually. I do know this from my source, that the plan a few months ago was to explore going to camera early next year, January, February. Whether that is going to happen or not, I don't know. We haven't heard anything from them. No news doesn't mean that there isn't any news at all. It just means that there might not be news yet to spread around. But I don't know. Ideally, I think they want to shoot it next year. And ideally, I think they would like to shoot it in the winter because, you get more of an autumn fall sense. However, if my source is correct, and if now we do know that the second movie, Halloween Kills, is, picks up immediately where the first one left off. If part 3, Halloween Ends, does also pick up where part 2, Halloween Kills, leaves off, which we've heard very early on that was the case, that all 3 movies take place in one night, then you might be able to film in the summertime or the spring. You can still film in the spring, but you may even be able to film in the summertime because everything's at night. So with some cool color grading and, shooting at night, you're not going to know it's not fall. You're just not. You really have to worry about that kind of thing when you're shooting during the day, especially because the daytime, there's a different atmosphere. There's a different feeling. There's a different vibe. Even if you were to desaturate the colors and sort of wash them out a bit so they're not as saturated, you can see all the leaves on the trees. You can see that it's fully vibrant in terms of its foliage, not necessarily the color. So it's during the day that becomes an issue. But if you're shooting at night, and you desaturate the colors a bit, make it look a little more cooler, it could be May and we probably wouldn't care because there's, you're bouncing inside and outside from location to location. You can spread a few leaves around on the ground in certain shots and people aren't going to know the difference. It's not that you can willy-nilly it. You have to be careful, but it's easier. It's easier to mask than if your entire movie was during the day or if your movie took place a year later and you had to start your film during the day or show establishing shots. And then it becomes sort of, a bit of a problem to get the viewer to buy into that this is the fall in the Midwest. So I think that's still the plan is they would ideally like to shoot in the winter or early spring, end of March, beginning of April, maybe. But I haven't heard any movement on it yet. I'm not entirely sure. Not entirely sure. Kratos says, Dave, would you do a 2 dudes on Rocky or Rambo in the future? Yeah. No, we haven't done Rocky or Rambo, but definitely I think Tony and I would be down for that. Yeah. Again, my apologies for yesterday, folks. Tony and I have just been so busy. Tony's been really, really busy with his photography, obviously. He's fantastic at it and it's the holidays. So he's getting a lot of work coming in and obviously that comes first. Totally understand. So we're trying to juggle some things around and it's been a little tricky. These last several months have been a little tricky for 2 dudes, but do not worry. We will be back. We will be back. Definitely. We are coming back. Shocking Poetry says, hey, Dave, when When will It's Me, Billy be released, and will there be a DVD or Blu-ray copy available? Also, when I heard Rob Zombie was remaking Halloween right then and there, I knew it would be bad. Well, shocking poetry, It's Me, Billy won't be released till next year because it's still in post-production. We just finished shooting the movie. It will not be released on DVD. It will be released on Blu-ray, but not something you can buy in stores because obviously we don't own the intellectual property. It's not something we can make money off of in that sense. It will be released on Blu-ray for our donors. Now, I have had people ask me, can I still pick up a Blu-ray copy? At this very second, no. But it's possible that, I mean, that's why we have the Indiegogo campaign, right? It's possible that not when the teaser trailer drops on the 24th of December, but next year when the trailer drops, an official trailer, we may also launch a quick Indiegogo campaign for any last remaining folks who want to pick up a Blu-ray and or a t-shirt or something like that. That's something that we may do. And it may be a campaign that runs for, a couple of weeks or something like that. And that may be your opportunity there. And then, of course, we are launching that in conjunction with the official trailer dropping, which gets people excited and more likely to obviously then turn over to the campaign. So that's something that we're thinking about doing. It proved very successful for Vince, who did that with Never Hike in the Snow. It was a great idea, great business move. We're thinking about doing the same thing. We have our own ideas as well. I mean, he has a certain approach to marketing his stuff, and we have an approach to marketing our stuff. And both so far have been proven to be very successful. So, we have a lot of ideas that we're rolling around, and we'll see how it goes there. But yes, it will be, especially to those who picked up the Blu-ray on the Indiegogo campaign. However, you have to remember that the movie has to be done and released in order for then the Blu-ray to be made and for you to have it. So the other perks like t-shirts and posters and hats and scripts and things like that, and Mcrae Live. I'm going to be having guests on Mcrae Live starting in January, and Two Dudes and things like that. We want to get people on because that was part of the perks too. That stuff we can start fulfilling, now, because it's stuff that doesn't require the movie to be done. But anything that requires the movie to be done, so, essentially the Blu-ray, then, obviously you have to wait till the movie to be done. And then you will get a sense of when the movie will be out when you watch the teaser trailer on December 24th. A DMT Infinity says, Dave, if you were trapped on a volcano and only had 24 hours to live, what 4 movies would you want to watch before Volcano explodes? Also, Michael Myers is stalking you and you're missing a leg. I would say I'd want to watch Jaws, Halloween, Black Christmas, and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. There they are. That's what I would say. Warren Armour says, Alien does not have Android saying, get to the chopper. Alien is great and Predator is awesome. I could not agree more. I think Alien is great and Predator is also awesome too. I thoroughly agree. Okay, good. Just always like to check. Don't want to miss any super chats. Gary Rangel says, Dave, which town would you live in, Hawkins or Haddonfield? I would live in Haddonfield. I would not live in Hawkins. Hawkins, for some reason, strikes me as, I don't know. It would strike me as something I wouldn't want to live in. Yes, that Tabitha Short. That's right. That is one of Dave's quickest responses to a question. I know. I tend to be very thorough and go on little tirades. That was quick, wasn't it? Oh, I could be quick if I had to be quick. But what the hell? Brandon says, Dave, which is better, the Terminator or Terminator 2? Also, you should add them to the Two Dudes watch list. Oh, it's there. We just are, our watch list. We have a lot of things on our watch list, but definitely we will be doing Terminator 2. I think Terminator 2 is probably the better movie overall. But I think people have appreciated Terminator a lot more over the years. I think the love and affection for Terminator has risen over the last several years. And I think it's a good thing because I think they're both really good. And yeah. Robert Thitoff says, Dave, of these 3 Canadian character actors, who is the most underrated in your opinion? Bruce Greenwood, Alan Thicke, or Victor Garber? Ooh, that's a good question. Let me just, I know who Victor Garber is, but let me, Bruce Greenwood. I want to make sure I'm thinking of the right guy. Da-da-da-da. I am thinking of the right guy. Okay. Is that, and do I have Victor Garber, right? Victor Garber, right? Okay, yeah, Victor Garber. It's Garber. It's Victor Garber, right? Yeah, Victor Garber. Underrated. I would say underrated would probably be, underrated? Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, that's a good question. I'm going to go Victor Garber. I think he's probably better in that regard. I think he's a good actor. I mean, they're all good actors. They're all good character actors. But Victor Garber, but then, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to say that though. I'll just say that. It's a good question. It's a good question. Destiny Faulkner says, if you could play anyone in a horror movie, who would it be? If I could play anyone in a horror movie, who would it be? If I could play anyone. Well, I mean, playing Freddy Krueger in Dylan's New Nightmare is going to be exciting. And that's something I can pull off because I'm the right size for it. I mean, listen, I would love to play Jason. I would love to play. And I guess I could, like I said, I've often said I could play Jason, but it would be more of a Steve Dash Jason. Like I'd have to, because I'm 5'8", you put boots on me, I could get to 5'9", you know. And depending on the boot, I could be even 5'10". So I could be, you could get me to be Steve Dash, like that kind of a Jason. But I couldn't be like Hockey Mask Jason, which is unfortunate. Michael Myers, I could play Michael Myers. I could be like a Nick Castle kind of Michael. That I could do, but certainly I couldn't be like James Jude Courtney Michael. And I don't think they would go backwards in time and cast somebody like me as Michael. But Freddy is somebody I could play. Because Robert Englund's not much taller than me, if at all. I know people say he's like 5'11". He's not. Robert Englund's not 6 feet tall. You know, and he's not 5'11". I don't even think he might be 5'10". But let's put it this way. I have a buddy of mine. His name's Ryan, who met Robert Englund at a con, got his autograph, photo, signed photo, got his photo taken with him. Now, my buddy Ryan is 5'10". Okay. He's 2 inches taller than me. All right. And in this photo, he's I don't say smidgy, but you can tell he's taller than Robert Englund. So, you know, and I asked him, were you wearing like boots or something? He's like, no, I was just wearing shoes. He's just wearing regular running shoes. So, you know, I mean, I'm just saying that never go by what you read online. And if you're ever meeting a celebrity in person, look at their shoes. Because sometimes you'll see, especially the men, you'll see shoes with thick soles or thick heels, things like that. And that could lift you up a couple inches right there, you know. So it's just important to keep that in mind. I'm not saying that Robert is, 5'5". Of course he's not. But I've heard people say, no, he's 6 foot. It's like, no, he's not. He's not 6 foot. He's not. So anyway, I could be him, obviously, again, because you put shoes on me or whatever, I get to 5'9", you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm a little stockier than Robert, though. Robert was very lanky and wiry. I'm a little stockier than him, but other than that, we could be close to the same height. Yes, Heck says Tom Cruise uses shoe lifts. Yes, he does. Tom Cruise is, I think, 5'7". And Sylvester Stallone is like my height, like 5'8", 5'9", tops 5'9". He's not. I remember, let's just put it this way. What was the movie he did from 2001? Was it called Driven, I think? Stallone did a movie called Driven, I think. And it was shot I love Frank's little emoji. And it's red too. And it's like this 80s stiletto. Stallone did a movie in 2001, I believe, called Driven. I think it was. It was a race car film. That movie was shot here in Toronto. And Dave could play Chucky. That's right. I could. And in 2001, that was when I started to pursue my my on-camera acting career. And I was cast in this commercial for Maple Leaf Meats, which is a brand up here. It's like a Oscar Mayer kind of thing, right? And I remember I had to dress up in like a suit or whatever. And I was in the makeup chair, and the girl that was doing my makeup was talking to me about how she just finished working on Driven. Can't believe I never told this before. Of course, it's not something, it's so long ago, I forgot. And I was like, oh, cool. I was like, did you get to work with Sylvester Stallone? And she said, well, wasn't working with him directly. She said, but yes, I was there. And she didn't do his makeup, but she was doing other people's makeup. So they had she was in the same makeup room with him. And we were talking, and she said to me on his own, she said to me on her own, she said, he's not that tall. And I said, I've heard that. And she says, I think you're taller than him. And I'm like, what? No way. And she's like, if you're not, you're like the same height. And I was like, what? Are you serious? This is when I first learned about how he's really not that tall. And I'm like, what? Like, no, I was like, I'm like 5'8". How could he be? And she's like, he's not tall. He's big, he's muscular, but he's not tall. But of course you put shoes on him, he can get a little taller. Look at Sylvester Stallone in photos on red carpet and stuff. He's got like this big dress shoe with, when you meet Sylvester, if you were to meet Stallone in person, yeah, he probably would stand 5'10". He probably would because he probably never leaves his house without his lifts. You know what I'm saying? But certainly, yeah, I was like, really fascinating, So I thought that was kind of cool. So he's not that tall. He's like 5'8", 9, maybe, right? Yeah, it's interesting to see heights. It's usually the men, because of men have a very, it's that inferiority complex. It's the image, right? It's all part of the PR. It's all part of the image that they have to present. It's like how Jason Statham in some sort of, he can't get beat up too much on screen or something stupid like that. And The Rock has certain things in his contract that always have to show him in a really good light, like something. It's crazy to think, but that shit exists. It fucking exists. It actually exists. And sometimes I feel like pulling them aside and being like, you guys aren't actually these guys. You can't really scale a fucking building. Well, unless you're Tom Cruise. but you know what I mean, though? It's like, you're just pretending, right? Nobody actually thinks you're leaping from this tall building and falling down and exploding. And you do know it's okay if we think that you can't do that. Because you can't, because you die, Anyway, I just find it so funny, all about the image they want to project, right? The Rock, he's got to project this image, and it's like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Frank Riker says, so Dave can stand in as Ivan Drago. Yes. If you take anything from the last 5 minutes of what I've been talking about, that is what I'm saying. But Destiny, back to Destiny's thing. Yeah, I would say that it would be cool to play those characters. I would love to play Darth Vader. I can't, again, because I'm too short, but I would love to play Darth Vader. I think that would be a cool role to play. You know what I mean? That would be cool. I could be a stormtrooper, though. I definitely could do that. And yeah, I would say that, but you said any character, and I'm sort of talking about the villains here. You know what? I'd love to play Indiana Jones. I think Indiana Jones or Han Solo would be a blast to play. No pun intended on the blast part. I would love to play, again, I don't think I could play them because I don't think I don't think I'm the right look, first of all. And I don't think I'm the right, the right height, obviously. But if I could play them, I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think it'd be a lot of fun to play those. Yes, Stallone's all hair and heel. It's true. Especially in the early in like Rocky 3, man. if you look at promotional images for Rocky 3 or just watch Rocky 3, Stallone's got like, I don't know how many thousands of dollars of product in his hair. And his hair is like, there's like 6 inches of hair. There is 6 inches of hair. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Duke Fleet says, Dave, who do you like more, Arnold or Stallone? I would say that I think I lean more towards Stallone. I think Stallone is the better actor. Arnold, I don't know. I guess what it comes down to is that I think I like more of Stallone's movies than Arnold's movies. Like Arnold, yeah, the first 2, Terminator, True Lies, Predator, you know, but beyond that, then it kind of takes a drop. Do you know what I mean? Like a significant drop. You know, then you're like, I guess there's Total Recall. Yeah, put that one up there. You know, he's got The Running Man and stuff, but there's just, I don't know. I find that I like more Stallone movies. Cobra, Over the Top, you know, Locked Up, pretty much every Rocky except for 5. You know, Rambo, Cliffhanger. You know, what else? I mean, even the Expendables are funny, and he obviously Arnold's in that. But I don't know. I guess. I mean, I love Arnold. I do. Who doesn't like Arnold? But I maybe Stallone by a hair, maybe. That might be actually a good topic for a show. That might be a good topic for a show. Maybe I'll throw that. Maybe I'll do that as a topic for a show and throw that out to you guys. It's a good question, though. It's a good question. Amstel54 says, Dave, Twilight Zone or Hitchcock Presents? Ooh. I'm going to say Twilight Zone. That's what I'm going to say, Twilight Zone. Shocking Poetry says, Dave, do you consider Batman Returns a Christmas time movie? No, I don't. I don't think it's a Christmas time movie at all, just like Die Hard is not. Zach Gaxiola says, Dave, since the Skywalker saga is now more or less complete, would you sometime down the line do a video or live stream where you rank the 9 core Skywalker saga films from worst to best? Sure, I can do that. I can probably do that now for you. Worst, I think, is probably The Last Jedi, then followed by Attack of the Clones, then The Phantom Menace, then Revenge of the Sith, then followed probably by, I would say, then Rise of Skywalker, Force Awakens, A New Hope, Jedi, and Empire. I think that's probably how I'd go. Or maybe Jedi, New Hope, Empire. Maybe just reverse it. Or reverse that. Something like that, probably. Yeah. That would be the ballpark of what my ranking would be, I think. It'd be something like that. Like I said, I mean, I'm a huge fan of The Force Awakens. I thought they did a great job. It was what it needed to be. And I thought The Rise of Skywalker was, you know, what it was. I mean, you can go watch videos of me a couple of months prior to the release of The Rise of Skywalker. And literally, this is me before anybody ever saw the film, me saying to you, explaining to you why I think The Rise of Skywalker is going to be exactly what it was. Exactly what it was. 100%. I said people are going to like it more, well, unless you're part of the Phantom Menace that likes to crap and hate on everything. But Dave, that's not right. Wait, they're coming out in droves now after I said that. But why, generally speaking, people are going to watch The Rise of Skywalker and probably enjoy the experience of watching it more than they did The Last Jedi. And I said, if I can walk away from it going, all right, yeah, okay. It's because I knew it would, people who had these high expectations for The Rise of Skywalker, I told people, get rid of them. It ain't happening. And it's not happening because JJ's not capable and because, you know, he's a fucking shitty director. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's because the second act fucked everything up. You need another movie. They should have done 9 and 10 and allowed breathing room and you know, I've said all this before. Anyway, But I thought The Rise of Skywalker was enjoyable. I liked it far better than The Last Jedi. I enjoyed the experience. I've watched it more than The Last Jedi. I don't like it as much as The Force Awakens, but it was it's all it could have been. The only way The Rise of Skywalker was ever going to be the end game of Star Wars was if they didn't fuck Last Jedi in the ass. And they did. And they did. And it's nothing to do with fanboy expectations. For those of you that are new to my channel, it's not just a 40-year-old fanboy upset because Luke didn't tear down a Star Destroyer. It has nothing to do with that. Go watch my past videos. Let me see. Dylan, you son of a bitch. What's the matter? CIA got you pushing too many pencils? He's pushing or pressing too many pencils. Dave, my main man. How's it hanging, buddy? Did you watch the Tyson Jones fight? Great question. Not live because I was in the middle of shooting It's Me, Billy. We were actually into our last night of production that night on the 28th of November. But I did watch it after the fact because you can watch it on YouTube. And I thought it was, I would have liked to have seen, I would have liked to have seen Tyson in a real fight. And I know he's 54, and I know, and everything that everybody says about you have to be careful, you're 54, you take a punch and look out, and 100%, I mean, all that is true. But it's an exhibition fight, and I can't help but feel that either of them, him or Jones, weren't really, I mean, they talk the good talk, right? Oh, we ain't holding back. We're going to, when I get in that ring, and because that's what you do. That's what you do. But Tyson was sparring harder than he was against Jones. Now, is it different because you have an opponent and he's punching back? And yes, 100%, 100%. But I can't help but feel that Tyson and Jones could have gone harder. I think they could have, especially Tyson. 100%, 100%. If this was not an exhibition fight and a real fight, I think Tyson, because we never saw Tyson throw the uppercut. I mean, he kind of like his signature move, which is the left or right hook and then up front. He never did that. And there were many times where Tyson, especially in the early rounds, could have knocked Jones on his ass by doing that. And he didn't do it. Now, were there some moments that Jones got the upper hand too? Yeah, 100%. And was he holding back? He might have been as well. And I just kind of feel like, well, and I get it. They're 54 and 51. I get it 100%. But Tyson especially looked good enough that you almost are like, I kind of want to see him in a real fight. Not against, Dante Wilder or Tyson Fury. I mean, that's probably not the best course of action. But, like a real fight, somebody his age, and it isn't an exhibition fight. It's a real fight. It's one that counts. It's one that's going to go on the books. If Tyson wins, he becomes 51-6 instead of 50-6. Like, it's a real fight, but getting that sanctioned is the problem. Getting that official is the problem because, he's 54 and yeah, that is something that you do have to take into serious consideration. And who's going to sanction that? Because then the repercussions of that could be huge, could be huge, but it could be. So I get it, but I thought he looked good enough that I was like, yeah, I feel like he's holding back. Like it feels like he wants to go. It feels like he wants to go, but there's a part of him that's like, oh yeah, this is exhibition. I got to just kind of, show my stuff and get in there a little bit, but I can't go fucking ape shit. I'm not talking about biting anybody's ear off. I'm talking about, throwing that uppercut, which he had multiple chances to do and he didn't. So yeah, I mean, it was fine. It was great to see Tyson in the ring and Jones in the ring sparring. I mean, basically a glorified sparring match. That's what it was. That's what exhibitions are. But I think he looked good enough that I would like to see him in a real fight. I'd like to see it. Not facing somebody 30 years his junior. Just, I don't know. I mean, there's talk of him and Holyfield going at it again. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe make that a real fight. Make it real so that it can count, because if it's exhibition and if Holyfield wins, well, it doesn't really count. Well, he won 3 of the no, he didn't. Yeah, technically, but it doesn't count because it's make it a real fight. I don't know. That's how I feel about it. But, but Holyfield's like 60 almost. So, I mean, the chances of that happening are highly unlikely, unfortunately. But I thought, but it was fun to watch because obviously, being almost 42 years old, I grew up with Tyson being the man, right? And I mean, my dad covered the Mike Tyson trial in the early 90s. He was sent down to cover that trial. And I remember hearing the stories of my dad when he went down to cover it. So my dad was at the Spinks fight in 1988. You can see my dad ringside, actually. I shared a photo of it 6 months ago, maybe at the beginning of the summer. I shared a photo. So yeah, I liked Mike Tyson. I had Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and we all did. I mean, if you're somebody my age and a bit older, yeah, I mean, you remember it, right? You remember what it was like. So it's cool to see that, and it's not to say that he's lived a virtuous life, but certainly it's cool to see the mystique of that character in the ring again. So yeah, it was what it was, but I would have loved to have seen him in a real fight. Yeah, Tom Hungarian says Tyson was trying to knock him out, but when you lose over 100 pounds, you lose muscle and strength. That's what happened to Tyson. I'm not so sure about that, man. I mean, yes, he lost 100 pounds, but it's not like he lost 100 pounds and he looked like he was in shape. I mean, when you look at Mike Tyson, he's got muscle on him and he was training in the gym. It's not like he went on a cardio diet where you're losing muscle mass or you're losing fat and muscle at the same time. You're not gaining anything else. He lost 100 pounds, but not just over the summer. He's lost this over a year. And he's been I've seen videos of him in the gym training with weights. He's been training. It's strength training. He's lifting. I've seen him doing the bench. I've seen him doing curls and legs. So it's not like yes, he's slower than he was naturally because he's 54, but I don't fully agree with what you're saying there. I think he could have gone harder. And I think if he hits you, I think it's going to hurt. You know what I mean? And he looks good. Like he's got muscle on him, if he had just lost 100 pounds and didn't train to put muscle on, he wouldn't look like the way he does. He wouldn't look like that. I mean, some people have a natural ability to have, to get muscle memory, right? We can get that back fairly quick. But certainly if he had just lost 100 pounds and didn't train, he just lost 100 pounds. He just went on a diet and became vegan and just ran on the treadmill, then he'd look very thin. He wouldn't look like that. And he looks good. He doesn't look like what he did, when he's 20, obviously, but he's still, I mean, if he was to walk into this room right now, he'd be a big dude. Not like the Rock big dude, but if he walked in, you'd be like, oh, that's a big dude. You know what I mean? So I get the principle of what you're saying, but I think there's a little more to it than that, though. David Coe sends in a super chat. Thank you, David. Says, Dave, I've always been impressed with your energy level. Do you wake up with that energy or do you build up to it? Can't wait to see It's Me, Billy. Thank you, David, and thank you for the question. No, I think I'm generally it's part of my personality. I'm generally an outgoing, extroverted person. But certainly when I come on here to do the show, I'm hosting the show. And I know, I don't think of this consciously, but because of the kind of individual I am, I host the show in a way that is engaging and fun. And I try to be charismatic and silly. And, it's just who I am. That's part of my personality. I've always been that way. I mean, if you went to high school with me, you'd know that I've always been that way. I've always been a very charismatic, outgoing, silly person. So I think that just carries over into performing. I mean, this is what I'm doing here, even though I'm hosting a show, I'm performing, I'm on stage, right? You get me on stage in front of people performing, and this is what I do. So it doesn't take anything for me to turn it on. There are days where it might be more difficult to turn on because I'm tired or I've been up all night or I'm cranky or, whatever the case is. But I wouldn't say that I'm here all the time. No. that's just too much. But if I'm going live on a show, especially my show, where it's just me. You know, I have to carry this for 90 minutes. So if I'm not here for 90 minutes, you know, people are bored, you know, and I get bored. So, but no, I don't wake up out of bed going, hey folks, how you doing? Dave Mcrae here. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Hi, sweetheart. Good morning. Good morning, Veda. What's going on? I want some kibble. There you go. There's some kibble. No, it's not like that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if it was like that? That'd be wild. That'd be wild. Let me see. I don't think I missed any other super chats. Oh, I did. We got Frank Riker here sends in a $5 super chat and says, Dave, using your same Star Wars ranking, but include the special editions. Well, yes, that would change things up a bit, Frank. You know, it's funny. I actually don't mind the Empire Strikes Back special edition. I don't mind that. I think that you can hardly notice. And the compliments and the additions, no pun intended, but a different addition than the ADD instead of ED. The additions they added to the special edition, I thought were fine and complimented it very well, especially on Bespin. But A New Hope did not age well at all. It didn't age well at all. And that Han Solo scene is atrocious. It's atrocious. It didn't look all that great in 1997, and it looks atrocious now. It is an eyesore like you wouldn't believe. I'm talking about the Han Solo Jabba the Hutt scene where Jabba is digitally inserted into this scene. You know the one I'm talking about. It is awful. And I remember seeing it in the movie theater in 1997 because I didn't see the original Star Wars in the theater when it came out because I wasn't born yet. I was born in 79. So in 1997, when I was 18, myself, Bruce, and my younger half-sister, Katie, because she was 10, we went and we took her to see A New Hope. And I remember when that scene, like there's certain things in there that look pretty good, that still kind of hold up today. Seeing the heads of the pilots in the cockpits of the X-Wing, you know what I mean? And they're turning and doing this kind of thing, moving. That looks really cool. Still holds up today, right? It's minor stuff. It's just accenting, just complimenting certain things, right? To fill it out a bit more. But I remember when that Jabba the Hutt scene came on, I remember in 1997, I was like, yeah, this doesn't, you know, I mean, CGI was still relatively in its infancy, you know, at that time with movies and stuff. But I remember even in 97 going, oh, you know, it kind of looks silly. You know, okay, cool. That's cool. Now, oh my God, it is awful. It's awful. It's terrible. It really is. It's terrible. And Return of the Jedi and that whole opening dance or the dance sequence and Jabba's palace, and then, you know, the whole song at the end and the no and picking up the Emperor and throwing him down the shaft made no sense. That, I've said this before, I'll say it again, that to me was George Lucas being spiteful. 100%. Instead of removing no from Revenge of the Sith, he decides to put it in Return of the Jedi for no reason. You don't need him saying no. No, you don't need him saying that because it's what's unspoken that's powerful. Him looking at his son, looking at the Emperor, we know what he's thinking. We don't need it fucking spilled to us on a silver platter, but he adds that in there. Like, are you fucking kidding me? It ruins it for me. It ruins it. Anytime I watch Return of the Jedi, I do not watch the special edition, or I do not, excuse me, that was on the Blu-ray. Pardon me, that was on the Blu-ray version. In the 97 special edition of Return of the Jedi, that no, and picking up the Emperor and throwing him down the shaft, that actually was not there. That wasn't there because no, hadn't come out yet. It didn't come out until 2005. So what does he do for the Blu-ray release of the original Star Wars trilogy in 2012, I believe it was? He adds no into that scene. It wasn't there. If you watch your original special edition, it wasn't there, but it's there in the Blu-ray release. And I can't fucking stand it. Whenever I watch Return of the Jedi, I will not watch the Blu-ray release of Return of the Jedi for that reason. And because it also has Hayden Christensen in it at the end, which makes no fucking sense. He's doing it. Yeah, but I want to tie it in. You don't need to tie it in. He died as an old man. You can leave him there. I mean, what does Sebastian Shaw think? I think he was dead at the time, but can you imagine his family? Oh, thanks for taking my dad out to replace it with Hayden so you can connect it to it's like, George, we love you, but fuck, you're surrounded by too many yes men. You need somebody to go, George, you don't need to do that. It's much more powerful and meaningful without it. You don't need it, because then why isn't Obi-Wan Ewan McGregor? It makes no fucking sense. Anyway, that's my rant. We'll go for a couple more minutes here, and then we will call it a day on this Q&A. That rhymed unintentionally. Real Reveal says, hey, Dave, was the Christmas tree from It's Me, Billy yours? No, the Christmas tree from It's Me, Billy was not mine. That tree was Bruce's Christmas tree, actually. Bruce brought his Christmas tree up, and that was the Christmas tree that we decorated, or I should say that the girls decorated, and put the lights on the Sunday night. There's photos online of them decorating the tree. We were at the house. It was just me, Bruce, Greg, our DP, and the three ladies who stayed at the house that night. And at about 9, we were all so exhausted, and I asked him, I said, you want to come down and put the tree up and decorate the tree? And I said, you don't have to, because we were really, really tired, because we were all up so early in the morning, right? But they did. They came down and they put the tree up and they decorated it, and those were the photos that I posted online on Sunday night. But that was Bruce's tree. Yeah, that was Bruce's tree. And it worked perfect. It was exactly what we needed. So MSM Michael 99 sends it a $2 super chat and says, thoughts on Silence of the Lambs, Dave? Love the movie. I haven't seen it in a while, but I do like Silence of the Lambs. Yes, I think it's a great psychological thriller. And certainly for its time, it was very good. And I should watch it again, because it's been a while since I've seen it, and I'd like to watch it again, because it's, like I said, it's been a little bit. Let me see here. What do we got? Let me try again. Make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't think I did. I think I've got all the super chats that have come in. I believe I have. Just want to make sure I am not missing anything. I don't think I did. Zach Axiola says, Dave, with the recent announcements we've gotten for the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney series, are you now more or less excited than you have been before? I'm not any more or less excited than I was before. I'm the same. I just don't think it's, for me, again, as I've said before, I'm not somebody that generally, I don't care. Listen, I'll watch it, sure, because I'm a Star Wars fan, and I'll try to watch a bit of the Obi-Wan series just to kind of get some context around it, and it might be really, really good, right? But it's not something that I particularly care about, because it's not something I feel as a fan I need to know. I need to know the Tatooine years, and no amount of Hayden Christensen coming back to play. It's so funny how fandom's so funny. It wouldn't surprise me in 10 or 15 years if the sequel trilogy, and you can say this now, no, it's never going to happen. The sequel trilogy, maybe Last Jedi aside, but maybe not, if all of a sudden it's revered. All it's going to take is for Disney to release something Star Wars that's dog shit. And you might now think, well, that was the sequel trilogy. No, but all it's going to take is for Disney to release something that's worse than the sequel trilogy, and everybody will be now fawning over the sequel trilogy, just like they now are the prequels. Some of you may not be old enough to remember, but as I've said on this channel before, the prequels were loathed. Not by everybody, but generally speaking, people loathed the prequels. They hated The Phantom Menace. They loathed Attack of the Clones. And you know it. If you were around at that time, you remember it. And if social media had existed in 99, 02, and 05, oh my God, if it would have been exactly what you saw with the sequel trilogy then as well. 100%. But now the prequels are looked as not that bad. You know, they're not that bad. You know, they're not that bad. Well, I mean, they're not that bad. All because now you have something that is fashionable to hate even more now, right? All it's going to take is Disney in another 10 years to release a new trilogy of movies that are dog shit. Like epic fail. And people are going to go, well, you know that sequel, it's not that bad. That's not that bad. And then in another 20 years, Daisy Ridley will be announced as coming back, and it'll be the same feel like, oh, Daisy Ridley's coming back as Rey. Oh my God. If this had been announced 15 years ago that Hayden Christensen was coming back to play Darth Vader, you would have seen people going, what the fuck? Get that whiny little piece of shit out of here. 100%. Now people are all excited. Oh my God, he's coming back. Oh, fandom can be so predictable sometimes. You know what I mean? And it's so like, I just find it funny. Like, you know, I guarantee you another 10 or 15 years, it's just going to take another trilogy that's even worse. And then people are going to be looking at the sequel trilogy going, well, you know, that's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. You know, and then they're going to do like and Daisy Ridley's back. Oh, she's back. Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's all it's going to take, folks. That's all it's going to take. That's all it's going to take. Let me see here. What do we got going on? Okay, got that. And we got, hey, Fandom Empire in the chat room sends in a 279 super chat. Ooh, 279. Oh, was that intentional because of my birth year? I don't know. Fandom Empire says, Dave, who do you like better, Frank or Darren? Oh, well, you know what? I think Darren is just so much worse than Frank. Frank's a nice guy. Darren's just can't stand that Darren. God damn it. I love those guys. Both Frank and Darren are amazing. And Darren then sends in a super pound and says, loaning at Frank Riker a $5 for the sexy MFers in the chat. Oh yeah, that's right. That's supposed to happen around this time for the sexy MFers in the chat. Cody Snyder says it may be this new trilogy that helped out the prequels. 100% it is, Cody. 100%. That's why I'm saying that all it's going to take is another trilogy in another, 10 years or whatever for to fail epically in the eyes of fandom. Okay, I mean, they can make billions of dollars, but for whatever reason, it rubs fans the wrong way, and they're all... I'm offended. That's all it's going to take, and... You can see it now. That's all it's going to take, and then people are going to go, The Force Awakens wasn't that bad. That's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Revisit it. And there's going to be like think pieces on it, right? In 20 years from now, in Variety, there'll be like this think piece revisiting the 20th anniversary of The Force Awakens. It's going to be, it's not that bad. And you're going to have, or revisiting The Last Jedi. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. The Rise of Skywalker. Sure, Palpatine was shoehorned in. But have you thought about it looking at it this way? It's not that bad. These movies are actually not that bad. It's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. And I'm calling it now. And you will remember this. You will remember this 20, 10, 15 years from now, whatever it is. I have no idea. All right, folks, that's going to do it for me for episode 128 of Mcrae Live here on this Tuesday Q&A. I like doing these Q&As because sometimes the entertainment, there's things we can talk about, but sometimes I like putting it out to you guys, and then you guys ask the questions and building more of the camaraderie and the interaction that way as well. But I have a few ideas rolling around in my head that I might do as a main topic for Thursday, so we shall see for that. You guys are amazing, of course. Thanks to my great moderators, Frank Riker, Tabitha Short, and Darren Sands for doing what you guys do. Don't forget this Thursday, the Slaughtered Lamb Podcast, watching Die Hard. I'm on it. Episode 10 of the Slaughtered Lamb Podcast. Myself, Frank Riker, and Darren Sands talking some Die Hard, watching Die Hard. I believe that's Thursday, right? Is it Thursday or Friday? I think it's Thursday. It drops wherever podcasts are downloaded. Make sure you check that out as well. And thank you to the Super Chat questions that came in today. The non-Super Chat questions, of course. You guys are amazing. You know that. I'm not saying anything you don't already know. So yeah, I will be back. Well, hey, there's a Patreon only AMA tomorrow night at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're part of my Patreon, that is happening tomorrow night at 7, but I'll be back Mcrae Live. And of course, there's always a chance that something crazy could happen and I could do something in between now and then. You never know. I mean, sometimes that happens. Thursday, Darren says Thursday. Frank says, yep. That's like Thursday, but it comes after Friday. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, yep, Saturday, Sunday. It's the whole thing. It's a different kind of calendar that Frank goes by. All right, folks, that'll do it for me. I'll talk to you guys soon. In the meantime and in between time, cheers.